Infrasound. Have you heard it? Well, infrasound is actually the sound below our hearing capabilities. So you can't hear it, but you can feel it. And sometimes the effect isn't very good. Stay tuned. And welcome back to the Bric-a-Brac shop. And this is the platform to the paranormal, the spiritual, the unexplained. And I'm Tom from the shop. So, welcome to another episode. And this time, since I've been looking at sound vibrations, I thought it'd be interesting to look at the lower vibrations, the infrasound. Now, this is sound that is below the normal hearing range. The human hearing can hear between 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, or 20 kilohertz. And if you go below that, you go into the infrasound, anything below 20 hertz. And some of the frequencies there can interact with the body as well, but on a lower level, and actually can do damage. Because the human body actually vibrates on a frequency of about 6 to 13 hertz. And the most dangerous frequency in the infrasound area is 7 hertz, because that's the medium alpha frequency of the brain and some of the other organs. So if someone is exposed to that frequency, they can suffer from nausea, vomiting, fatigue, and in extreme cases, even death. So you have to be careful of those low frequencies. In fact, there is an experiment conducted in the French military by a Dr. Vladimir Gavrou. And I hope I pronounced that name correctly. It happened back in 1957. He was researching infrasound and how to use it as a weapon. Now, while these experiments were going on, colleagues in surrounding parts of the building were feeling sick, experiencing nausea and headaches and tiredness. And there was one experience where actually one of his colleagues actually died. And that was because vibrations acted on the internal organs, actually shattering them. So the infrasound frequencies can be dangerous if not applied correctly. And then there's infrasound that can be used for medical use. And it's quite fascinating that they can use different frequencies to heal different body parts. There is, just looking at my notes, there is the frequency-specific microcurrent. Now, this was actually been discovered at the early 1900s, earlier 20th century, and it's sort of like lost enthusiasm in the 1940s. But then it was redeveloped again from the 1980s to the 1990s, and it's sort of like been in constant use since the 1990s, mid-1990s. And there are different frequencies to target different organs and to create different effects as well. Very good for inflammation. And by a trained practitioner, they'll be able to know when is the right time to use it and when not. Like if something is inflamed, as I saw in the video, which was quite fascinating, means that the body is trying to cure an infection. There's an infection in that area, which is why it is inflamed. Now, if you reduce the inflammation, but there is an infection, that lets the infection to start again and get worse, so to speak. In that case, it's a sign that you need to see medical help again to treat the infection. But if it's just an inflammation, this particular frequency gets rid of the inflammation, which is quite remarkable. And also the different frequencies with this frequency-specific microcurrent, it can treat shingles and burns, kidney stones, asthma, irritable bowel syndrome, neuromass, and a whole range of other illnesses as well, quite remarkably. And it's innovative treatment. So that's some of the things that these sound waves can help. Some of them are incorporated with the infrasound and just traveling up into the human hearing range as well. Now, infrasound, as well as having some good medical properties, as well as some disastrous effects on the human body and things, they say that animals communicate on infrasound, like elephants and rhinoceroses, hippopotamuses, and even whales. They communicate on that low sound. So we can't hear them, but the other animals can. Also with the infrasound, as well as creating nausea in people in some situations, they've also noticed it can be the explanation for the haunted house feeling. Some people will say they'll walk into a room and they will feel eerie and bizarre. And they've done this in laboratory tests. Actually, there's one laboratory where they were doing research and they found that people were actually didn't like going into that room. It felt eerie and spooky. And then they noticed on investigation there was a fan that was rotating, and that was producing a sound of 18.9 hertz, which is supposed to be the spooky sound. And this was creating that feeling. Now, once they turned that fan off, that whole feeling disappeared. As one person said, it was like a whole weight lifted off him. So, what do you think of that? It's also a frequency that vibrates with the eyes, around 18 hertz. It would make the eyes vibrate, which is why some people in those places see visions and things happening. As one researcher said, he could actually see things on the side of, in the corner of his eye, and when he looked, it was gone. Which is very similar to what people say when they're seeing things in haunted places. Now that's the theory, but maybe, since this is a paranormal esoteric channel, maybe entities can travel on that vibration and they use that vibration to come in. What about that theory? Also, thunderstorms create infrasound as well. The weather does. So maybe there's a particular sound that thunderstorms create. And maybe that's why when there's a thunderstorm, people feel eerie and strange. And then again, maybe that's the vibrational level that these entities can travel on. And that's why they do appear and come around. When there's a thunderstorm, when it's eerie. What do you think? Very interesting concept with all of this infrasound. Now, don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode or find some value from it, please tell your friends and share it, and click the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed as yet. And if you're new, please subscribe and click the bell and the notification button so you won't miss out when I do release videos. And check our links below as well, because we are affiliated with the UK's #1 spiritual shop, the Psychic Tree. If you want any spiritual products, they probably have it. And they've got reasonable prices, and they do have reasonable worldwide shipping. So do have a look around. And you also get 10% off your first order. And have a look at our other links. And if you want to buy me a drink, that's always welcome, because you help the channel when you buy me a drink and help me as well. And you're really appreciated. And links are all below. So until next time, stay well and happy.